I've had some stories, some funny stories about people going alone. Please. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the first corner. So today I'm going to be discussing about why my PR journey to Canada took 3 years. I'm just going to be giving some factors that affected it and like a summary of the relocation story. We started the processing for the permanent residency in year 2019, but didn't get approved until year 2022. The application was started with a single status. At the time that we started processing, my husband and I had not gotten married. So this was during our wedding preparation, and it was going to turn 32 that year in November, and we knew we had a deadline to meet. Your chances with express entry are slimmer when you submit your application after you turn 32. We tried to get married that year, but it didn't work out. So we got married and had to inform IRCC of the status change. I said he submitted as a single applicant, and now when we got married, he had to update them, and now he had to submit necessary evidence to prove that truly he was married. We had to submit pictures of our engagement, pictures of our wedding, our marriage certificates, just as many documents as possible to show that he was truly married. Now to the third reason, the pandemic happened. Oh my, the pandemic really did a lot of havoc to people's processing at the time. We all know how the pandemic went. Due to the pandemic, IRCC had to send an email that they had temporarily suspended applications for 6 months. And at the time, we had already gone for our medicals and we're just waiting for approval to move to the next stage. To number four, we had the baby. As much as I'm giving this relocation story and everything, there are still some pitfalls to be avoided. Initially, when we got married, we were not really talking about having kids. Like, I would say we were just in between. We were not like, oh, we have to have kids now. But the truth is, when you're relatively young and you're planning to relocate as a couple, you can just hold on a bit, because sometimes when you have a child, you have to submit necessary documentation, and that can stall the process of the relocation. So that was what happened in our case. We thought it wasn't going to take a long time before the COVID happened. So I got pregnant, and it was still during this pandemic that I gave birth to my daughter. My husband now had to submit another documentation that he now had a child. Remember, he started with the single status, then had to inform them that he was married, and now he has to inform them that he has a child. See, I'm thinking that maybe the officials will just have said to themselves that I don't think these people are serious. From one to two to three, you are not ready to come to Canada. I don't know. I'm just thinking so. Number five, our medicals expired. So what happens is when you go for medicals, it is only valid for 1 year. And it was a very high risk medicals that I did because I was pregnant with my daughter when I went for the first medicals. And they had to tie some things to my tummy. But though I had that if it is abroad here, you are not meant to do x-ray when you are pregnant because you are exposing the fetus to some radiation that may be harmful to the baby. And imagine now having to go through all that stress, traveling from Oshobo to Lagos only for the medicals to expire. Now, because of all these reasons, I think our files were moved from the country where it was to another country. Probably we were forgotten. Got to a stage that we were already even contemplating using another route, like going through UK. My husband had even forgotten his login password. And we also got some advice from people that if you know you've submitted an application to Canada, maybe for PR, maybe for school, please don't submit another application when they are still working on that one, because you might be deemed as desperate. So we knew we couldn't even go through that Canada route because we had already submitted an application. So we couldn't go through the school route to Canada. So my husband then said probably I should apply because he had his masters in the UK. That this time around I will be the one to apply for masters in the UK. Yes, I have my masters in Nigeria, but I was just like, maybe we should just go for another masters in the UK and probably do another course. On this day, my husband just opened his laptop, and we don't even know how it happened. I would say God was just faithful to us because we had even lost all hope. What if I tell you that the last medicals we went for was, I first went for one in 2020. I think we went for another one in 2021 and it expired again. And we had to now go for another one in 2022. At that time, I was even very sick. Funny thing that when we went for the medicals in 2022, I have one issue. When they say breathe in, I breathe out. When they say breathe out, I breathe in. I don't know if I'm the only one on this table. So we traveled all the way from Oshogbo. We had to lodge in an hotel in Ikeja for the medicals. It was when we got back to Oshogbo that they sent me a text message saying that the X-ray I did was inconclusive and I had to come for another one. See me, you're working in the bank and I've taken permission for 2 days from my oga. Funniest thing is that before I could even get 2 days permission from my boss from work, you know how banking work is so tiring. It was not easy. I had to even open up to my boss to tell him about the relocation process. Now having to go back to tell him that oga, I still have to go back to Lagos. I just have to summon up the courage that what will be. And God was faithful. He granted me the permission. So I went back to Lagos for the x-ray, and that one was successful. And that was in March 2022. To our utmost surprise, I think after like less than a month, we were called for our biometrics. We went, and I'm telling you that between that March when we went for our last medicals and June, we were told to submit our passports, and our passports were stamped on or before that June. This God is faithful. But the lesson I just learned about it is everything happens for a reason. And if we had come during that lockdown, I can remember that my husband was like, I want to go alone. And I was like, you cannot go alone. People were asking why I didn't want him to go alone. I said, I've had some stories, some funny stories about people going alone. Please leave me. If he knows that he wants to go alone, maybe we should not marry yet. It's not how far, but how well. God sees the future. If we had come at that time, we don't know how it would have been. Anyways, this was why our relocation process took up to 3 years. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share, like. God bless you. Bye.